What's up, everybody? Brett here, back today, playing some more Tower Dominion. Is that what this game is called? Yes. Okay. Had to make sure real quick. Hopefully you guys enjoyed yesterday's episode. I enjoyed the heck out of making it. Giving you guys a bit of a tutorial on this game that I absolutely adore. I mentioned in the last episode as well that because of the 3 howitzers that we were able to put on the field, we were able to unlock this guy, who's pretty sick looking, Master of Ordnance Silneo. His special abilities: plus 50% reload speed for light and medium mortar positions, Slovak howitzers, and sanctioned cannons. All very powerful towers that I love using. And then he also has field artillery, which means he starts with one of each of those. So I was hoping today we were going to ramp up the difficulty a little bit. It's the first time I've ever played as this character. We're going to take it up to level 2 battle difficulty, which has 3 additional waves and 1 additional opening to our base. So we're moving on up in terms of complexity. And you'll see here we do indeed start with the aforementioned blueprints. Let's see, what do we get here off the bat? It doesn't really matter which way we go, not much anyhow. The only question is, do we build to the outside or do we build to the inside? These are the questions. I think we're going to build to the outside. And we've got quite a bit of cash to start with. Could have tried to maybe look for a position to start with some sort of like medium mortar. These guys have to be placed on a 0 elevation. So we might have been able to make that happen if I'd have been a little bit more thoughtful. Otherwise, what are we going with? Probably just a normal start here. Look for ways to take advantage of some of these early elevations, which may look a little bit ugly now, but as we open up the map just a little bit, will look better and better. For instance, this position here, right? Half of its potential range is off the map currently, but won't be like that forever. Place a Mirador, probably. Let's put it here-ish. And we'll put another one here. Could upgrade our base, but I think this time I'm going to go for... We're going to lean a bit heavier into the Grenadier buffing stuff. Let's give this guy some detection. Don't know what kind of enemies we're going to get. We've got flyers already. The base can afford to take a little damage. It's not a big deal. Let's see. These 2 doctrines are pretty useless for us. We're going to take another Mirador and some more supply. I'm going to go ahead and buff the Miradors, if possible. There we go. We need to build away from our headquarters. We can't let the flyer spawn like right next to us. That's too hard to stop at the moment. For those of you who were curious, what ended up happening to the last run? We'll build one of these right here. What ended up happening was I was able to kind of push that build to the limits. Another, I want to say, maybe 4, 5, 6 waves. I think I got to wave 57 before we got overrun because we just simply ran out of blueprints. We were swimming in cash with no blueprints. And that's kind of how those endless runs usually go for me. So what are we doing here? We'll buff that. That gives us some detection, some damage, and additional target. Increase the rate of fire there. What are we going for? I'm going to keep taking blueprints. I think that's the move. So there's a couple schools of thought here. What we could try to do is peel off and try to wrap around. Or we just go straight off into 2 totally different directions. I don't like that. That's very weak. And you kind of... Well, you know what? I'll show you kind of the strats here. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to go off heavily into this direction. build as many entry points as possible, because what the game does, and this is kind of as you get into the higher difficulties of the game, watch, I'm just going to go ahead and let the battle play out as is. What the game does is it divides the potential number of enemies by the entry points. And we're going to take some heavy damage this wave. So we could end up building in such a way that we have like 15 entry points over here, and just we keep one entry point back here with a very light defensive force. That could be a potential route that we go for. I'm going to keep taking blueprints. I think that's a decent move. And in order to get the recon production going, I'm going to go ahead and drop this down. Our office headquarters. And with the heavy Vencedor, we should be able to clear up a lot of the stuff that's been hurting us. If the air starts flying behind us, that'll be a problem, but we're going to try to wrap this around. We want to keep everything over here if possible. This is a really good doctrine for getting a lot of supply later. And that's what we're going to be trying to do. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to place this here, try to wrap these two together, and then build this way. And wrap this one up into here as well if possible. That is the current modus operandi, I think. And if we wanted to play it a little bit safe, we could build the corner strong points. And that would stop us from taking a lot of this like incremental damage. This one tower I would have thought would be strong enough to kind of pick off those flyers, but it's not. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this opportunity to place a scout tower, which is going to be pretty much strong enough to help us do that. And I think we're also going to place down... Nah, I don't love any of that. Don't love any of that at all. Let's just go ahead and get a chaplain. Keeping a close eye down here to make sure that we're still good, that we're still covered. The scout tower is really helping. But we need to get the large squad in order to kind of really cover our bases. Once this is no longer an entrance point, we won't have to worry about these flyers. We just have to live that long, right? Could take the recon over the bastion. But now I think I'm going to err on the side of... We're going to err on the side of massing blueprints, I do believe. What else? What else? I like that there. I definitely want to put something here. So this is an excellent anti-air tower for us. I'm not loving the kind of lack of elevation that we currently have. This, honestly, this would have been a great spot for this tower. Is not as great. This would be fine based on the plans that we're making for the positions that we want. This also not terrible for that same reason. You know what? We're going to go here. I want this for additional damage to air units. I probably want to put another bunker there. It'll have like a really nice range profile for that particular spot. So this is a doctrine, but it's going to give us 2 blueprints. And 2 pretty decent blueprints for some of the weird shapes that we got going on. So like this spot in particular is a really good one for a trench. We really can't put anything else here without help from platforms. It'll also greatly boost the strength of our infantry, which is cool. We really want to rush this, though. The reason I put this here is because I wanted to get the huge range that'll really help us cover against air units. We've got a little bit of coverage versus the camouflage thanks to this mirror door, but this is what we were looking for right here. The scout tower, we got the large squad now. And we're starting to handle business. Happy to see some supply production. Can start making a little bit more cash. This is good here because we plan on rounding that corner. What else? What else? Remember, guys, these trenches, like these positions look like they'd be like really awesome trench positions, but they have to be on the ground. On the ground level. So like I'd like to put them, but I can't. This would be fine, but I think what we're going to do here is that. And then say go. I want to make sure we have enough damage to cover this and to cover camouflage. And now we have shields, which are a bit of a problem. Okay. If they're a bit of a problem, what are we going to do about it? That's a good question. I am going to put a trench down. Let's see. Here's a good spot. Here's a great spot, but it also kind of messes up a nice big open area, which could house something valuable later. I'm going to place that there for a tiny bit of DPS. We're going to use local supply to get a bit of a damage buff on that. Probably just want to save up and upgrade both of our mirror doors. As they're kind of our current last line of defense versus these guys. Once we close this loop, they're not going to spawn so close to us anymore. And we're not going to have problems with them. Increases building costs, but lowers upgrade costs. Which over the course of a long game, which this... we're kind of like halfway there already, and I don't really plan on going endless. This is good if you get this early. We're just going to take blueprints. This is going here. %1,000%. I'm going to put a mirror door down here and upgrade it ASAP. So we can kill more camouflage more easily. Need to get these upgrades, man. We're scraping by, it feels like. And it's because I'm taking blueprints over, like, easy supply. Which I'm hoping helps us out in the long run, even though it does kind of screw us a bit in the short term. We'll get a bunch more weapons on the trench here, and we'll raise the HP of our infantry. I think that does do something good for us. We don't really have a good source of getting more infantry. As of yet. Man, a lot of recon is very tempting. I think we need to take it. We're falling behind a little bit here. I don't love these options. We really want corner pieces. I could use this opportunity to re-roll, but I didn't do that. Instead, I'm going to place this scout tower here to get this supply point. And I'm going to upgrade this one to increase the range by a crap ton, but also give us slow, which is a really amazing effect. And we're going to upgrade this sturdy bunker with a solid foundation, which will make it an absolute killer. Alright, trying to stay a little bit well-rounded. It doesn't help us with the detection, but these three kind of have that covered. At least I hope they do. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the bit faster pace play today. I'm not quite explaining all my decisions and everything I'm doing. Man, this would be such a powerful position for this. I mean, no, this is what I was thinking of, but we actually can't place that there. This would be good here as well, though. Probably in a viscerally direction. No, this is good too. They're all good. We'll put it there. Could add a little slow. We don't have enough grenadiers to lean into the grenadier build. Sanction cannons are really powerful, but we also don't have the map layout that makes them extra strong. So this is what I was talking about. Happy to have this done. Now we want to put something up here that'll give us the recon production, but also take advantage of this really high terrain. I don't hate this. It's awkward because of its placement. We're missing out on so much potential like surface area, but I think this is fine. And when we increase its range by 2 extra because of its placement next to a neutral building, it'll look even better. I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade this. I'm starting to get a little nervous for this area. I feel like they're going to sneak up on me and get me when I'm not looking, basically. Need to always be aware, if you're going to have this strategy, just how much stuff is coming at you from that side. Okay. And with that, we can now get the large squad on this scout tower, which is huge. Tempted to finish that off, but like I said, we don't really have the grenadiers that make that strategy good. Would very much like to put a bastion here and a bastion here. We got 6 of them, Jesus. They deal very well with shields, and they also, you can spec them for either killing shields or killing camo. And down here we've got a shield problem, and over here we have kind of a both problem. I don't think you guys have seen a salamander. They're kind of my least favorite tower, I think. Build that there, and yet another bit of production for us. Okay, and we'll slap that down. Still want to get this guy. And you know what? I'm going to build one of those. Just get them cooking. Man, do we have a good place for our medium order? We do. A great central location. We'll upgrade it by decreasing, actually, its range, so that it can hit more stuff inside of its circle. We'll buff it there, and then we'll use some of our tech that's currently unused to give it massive range, damage, and rate of fire. So that's huge. Okay. Same with you. Tech is a resource we need to just use right now. I do not want to leak at all. How is this going? get some upgrades there. This pays dividends, but we've only got 8 waves left. So we're not going to see our money back from that. I think it's better just to get a retribution position at this point. And here we are very happy to get that. We just need one more piece to close it off and bring all of our enemies here. But as we reduce the entry points on this side, we make these waves stronger. So we need to be very cognizant of that. It's making me want to go down this line on my base. We also, I'm realizing, apparently have no healing on our base, no repair. That's not great. This can give us additional grenadier production, but I'm just going to opt into the heavy weapons. We'll take that. That'll allow us to get the compact charges. Way more range and slow. Very good. What are we going to do now? I'm going to throw some weapons on there. It's just a hedge. It doesn't do much without much range. What you can do, there's a strategy that you can do with the miradors that we haven't really made use of yet. Where essentially you build next to them, and there's an upgrade on miradors, which I'll hover over in a second here and show you guys. Where if you place it, so these are 0 elevation, so we would start by getting the underground depot, which increases its damage and rate of fire, as well as giving it 2 range at a height of 0, which is what's all around our headquarters. Then we could take, either one of these. This basically gives it massive damage and range, but only 1 shot, like a sniper. But the main thing here is to get close support, which gives the HQ 30% HP, 50% damage, and 5% repair. So having at least one of these, we could have built one early on to start the process of repairing. That might not have been a bad idea. I'm going to do it now on this side. And we're going to build towards it. I'm going to get to it as cheaply as possible, so we're not going to wait for long barrels. But once again, increasing its HP and damage is great if we build it as a stronghold with lots of weapons. Then it can really defend itself. So we have 1 million blueprints and not a lot of... We're going to wait for that. And not a lot of cash is what I was going to say. So we're going to wait on this. Fully upgraded bastion positions are great. I just kind of want to get a feel this way for what's kind of making it close. And I see a lot of shields, so that's making me want to get a pulse cannon here. And then we're going to go with ammo storage to make the pulse cannon more efficient. But that was a lot of enemies that got a little too close for comfort here. And with this, we have just reduced our entry points and made this position a lot weaker. But we've made this whole area way stronger because now all of the enemies have to run past here to get to us, which is good news for us. What I'm thinking about doing here is putting down some big boy missiles, getting the long burners upgrade, and just having this whole area covered here. I think that'll be super strong. And then I'm also going to get us another scout tower cooking. And let's see what this looks like this wave. I'm hoping we're still good. If not... Ooh, I'm starting to see some camo and shields. Okay, we're going to go for the quick roof snipers. And then the 12 weapons here from the shooting floor. So that was a lot of DPS we just added, but I'm hoping it's not too little too late. It looks like we're getting swarmed pretty damn good. Oof. That was a rough one. That was closer than it feels like it should have been. Okay. That's a big upgrade. This is a huge upgrade we'll get. It lowers our damage by 50%, but gives us 5 targets, 100% explosion radius, and plus 50% rate of fire. So it more than makes up for it. I think we need more here. We're going to upgrade this ASAP. Would love to put down the Rampart missiles right here and let it go to work. But we need to be able to save up $2 grand to do that. And that's going to be a tall order here. With how much we actually need to keep surviving these waves. So these 2 towers really handling business right now. I'm going to go ahead and push the enemy out a little bit further down here. Let's grab some soldier upgrades. We'll put some weapons on the HQ. They didn't even make it to the HQ. That's great. We're cutting it a little close here. Final wave, major breach. I'm expecting to die here. Let's hope that's not the case. Take the increased reload speed. We'll get the large squad there. And with the limited amount of cash we're currently sitting on, that's about all we can do, huh? I think so. Godspeed, homies. We'll give our little bitty buddies a bit more HP as they march to their doom like the Ents in Lord of the Rings. We've got snipers on the roof like the White House. Pretty sick. Wanted to build the Durandal turrets, but let's just get even more little grenadiers instead. We'll give them more HP. And it looks like we're going to survive here. And that's all I wanted to do. We're not going to go endless today. I just wanted to knock this out, get a win. We unlocked another doctrine. HQ gains 10% repair. That's pretty cool. That's a solid one. You just get one of those and you can just not even worry about repair for the rest of the game. But guys, that's going to be it. I kind of intended this series to be sort of like a one and done. If I had lost in 10 minutes, we would have restarted or whatever. And if this would have gone very long, let's say we were playing like a level 4 difficulty run, which we'll get to. I think tomorrow when I play, I'm going to try for a 3 difficulty campaign on, you know, one of the characters where we haven't done it already. And we'll probably end up showcasing a different one of these factions. I'm going to look at some of these characters and see, excuse me, which ones would be maybe the most fun. And we'll take it from there. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Brett. Channel's Good Talk Gaming, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Tower Dominion. Got it. All right. Take care, y'all.